And yeah, a knight on g3, if you can get it there successfully, it kind of works with the pawn to control the f5 and h5 squares really, really well. And he's also opening the door for his dark square bishop. So knight f1 does make a lot of sense. I was calculating this entire time for him to take, and then take. But I just didn't calculate if he just takes first. I just played the nastiest 1400 rated player known to man. After this game, in round 1, he went on to defeat a 2000 rated player in round 2 and then beat a 2400 in round 3. This is a player, Cole, from Penn State University, and it is his first tournament in 9 years, and I'm excited to share this game with you. He played e4, I played c6, and we went into this Caro-Kann where we did the exchange variation, and we both developed our knights here, and he plays bishop d3. I find this to be one of the easier ways to play in the exchange variation that doesn't pose any problems for me. Because I have easy development with bishop g4, pinning the knight to the queen. Other ways to play is to go bishop d3 first, and after knight c6, c3, and after a move like knight f6, they could play a move like bishop f4, and then like this one. In this variation, my bishop doesn't pin the knight to the queen, and they have both of their bishops out. White could also go h3 to prevent the development of my light squared bishop. So this variation where they go knight f3 first and then bishop d3, I'm always very happy to see these types of positions because you know, I find these positions very easy to play. This variation of the Caro-Kann exchange variation very easy to play. He plays c3. Wait, no, he doesn't play c3 actually. He plays knight bd2, and my first reaction to this, I was like, wow, he's got the blitz repertoire, because it may look like that the knight cannot move because it's pinned to the queen, so this d pawn is hanging. I can take it for free because if he takes, I take his queen, but it's actually losing because of bishop b5 check, and my king has no escape, and I have to block with my queen, and then he could either take my queen and then take the bishop, or just take the bishop immediately. I don't know which one's better. They both look fine. And yeah, he would just be up a lot of material. Like let's say e6, for example, takes. He's up 2 pawns here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, he has a knight for a pawn. A knight for a pawn. Yes. That's how it works. So yeah, it may look like a free pawn, but it's not, because it would be losing if black did take. So I played e6, just defending my pawn, and now I am planning to go, like if he just castles, for example, I can go knight takes d4, because after knight takes, bishop b5 check, I don't have to block with my queen. I can go king e7 now. So I play e6, he plays c3, and I play bishop d6. Keeping control of this diagonal. I thought it was a pretty good move. And then he played h3, my bishop back, and then g4. He hasn't committed his king yet, so he doesn't have to really worry about overextending these kingside pawns because his king isn't there yet. It forces my bishop to move, and then he plays he plays queen e2, which makes sense. You're developing the bishop. I don't know what he didn't like about taking. I assume it's to open h-file, and my rook is on a very nice square, and you probably don't want to do this as white. So he went queen e2 instead to maintain this pressure between the both bishops, and I just went knight e7. Knight e7, defending my bishop, and I'm keeping these pawns flexible with the move knight g e7. If I went knight f6, then I never have the option to play the pawn f6. And but now, since my knight's here, it supports the bishop on g6, so I can potentially put my knight there and put my knight on f4 or h4, and then I also supports my knight on c6, and a knight on g6 would also support the e5 pawn push and control the e5 square. So knight g e7 I think is actually the better move here, and he plays knight f1. Side note: these are no engine recaps. I don't use the engine. I have not looked at this game with an engine yet, but I will at the very end of this. Okay, so he plays knight f1, rerouting his knight to this to e3 or g3, Um, and yeah, a knight on g3, if you can get it there successfully, it kind of works with the pawn to control the f5 and h5 squares really, really well. And he's also opening the door for his dark square bishop. So knight f1 does make a lot of sense. But it's really awkward, especially, I mean, it's a closed position. So we're both leaving our kings in the center for a while, and neither side can really take advantage of it. But it does feel like, it does feel a bit weird for sure. I definitely think black has easier developments, and it feels like black should be for choice in this position. I play queen c7, so now my bishop and my queen team up to guard this diagonal, and now he can no longer play knight g3 because it would hang a pawn. And yeah, I thought it was a good move. And he plays bishop g5, developing his bishop and preparing to castle queenside, attacking the knight. And I decided to play bishop takes d3, forcing his queen off of the e file, allowing me to play the move f6. If I play f6 immediately, then he could possibly even sacrifice the bishop. He'll play queen takes e6, and after pawn takes, knight takes, and I cannot castle either way because of the queen. And this looks like bad news bears. I was really, really scared in this position. I actually don't even know what to play. For example, actually, let me change that. If probably bishop takes with check, and if knight takes, then check. And if pawn takes like this, then takes, and takes. And this looks really bad. I think that's the difference here. And I don't even know what to do as black if you go rook f8, guarding the f7 square. I forgot what I was scared of in this position. Maybe there's nothing to worry about. He could potentially just castle, but then queen d7 works for me. So maybe I shouldn't have been scared of this sacrifice. For some reason I was. But I mean, I played this game yesterday, Saturday. Now it's I played this game on Saturday, but now it's Sunday night. So I don't remember exactly why I was scared of this sacrifice, but I don't think it works. But anyways, I decided to take his bishop, force his queen off the e file, and then play f6. And I thought this light square bishop trade was good for me because his light square bishop was pretty good. And yeah, so I play f6, and I was thinking about potentially playing e5 right away. And I actually didn't think this was bad at all. I actually thought this was pretty good, but there was something about it I didn't like, because I was calculating pawn takes, bishop takes. If I take with the queen or bishop, my d pawn hangs. So I take with the knight, and then maybe a move like queen e2. Oh, maybe queen b5. No, queen f4. Queen f5 actually. Wait, this is the move I was thinking about. I forget what move I was thinking about here. But then I have rook f8 with tempo, and I can just kick him out. Actually, his queen's trapped in this case. So I don't remember why I didn't like the immediate e5, to be honest. Because the immediate e5 doesn't look that bad. One of the main things I have to worry about, though, is if he does castle, he has a lot of pressure on these pawns. And it might be hard to defend these, but they look okay as of now. Maybe he could even play knight e3. But then e4 is always a threat too. Yeah, e4 is always a threat. So he has to be careful. Yeah, maybe something like queen b5. But this doesn't look that bad for me either. So maybe e5 immediately was better. There was some reason why I didn't like it. And I also like this move too. I played knight g6. I liked both moves, both e5 and knight g6, but I ended up deciding on knight g6. And he just castled, allowing me to take his bishop. I thought he might go bishop g3 immediately, and then I might go knight f4 immediately. I wasn't super sure. But instead, he just castles. So he's allowing me to take his bishop. But I'm not super sure if I want to take his bishop or not. Because although my bishop seems really good, it's not really applying that much pressure. And my knight on g6 was really good, potentially hopping into f4. So that's why I didn't take his bishop. I just I played knight f4, he played queen e3, and then now I castled. My pawn on my knight on f4 guards the e6 pawn, so that's not hanging, and I'm threatening potentially to like do some sort of like discovery and then play bishop f4, pinning the queen to the king. But there's nothing that I'm really threatening now, and he plays bishop g3, which makes a lot of sense. Fighting for control of this f4 to c7 diagonal, so bishop g3 makes a lot of sense. And I play rook he8, lining up the rook with the queen. There's an x right here, makes a lot of sense. And he plays king b1, and I think for at least 12 minutes here, or closer to 15, and I play a move that really is super flawed. I think I should have just kept the position as is for another move and just play the move king b1. Play the move king b1, and then I can think about maybe pushing e5 at some point in the future. There's no rush. This knight doesn't have any great squares. It can go knight d2, but it's kind of stumbling over its other knight, and knight on b3 doesn't seem that great. Not that bad, but not that great either. So this knight on d2 doesn't seem that great, and he can't really. There's no rush. I'm not in any sort of rush at all. Instead, I play the move e5, and what I calculated was after pawn takes. If bishop takes, then after pawn takes, queen d3, then bishop c5. And it's really hard to guard this f2 pawn. And if he goes rook e2, for example, I can maybe play knight d4, or I might even have other options. And if he doesn't take the knight here, then I just think I have a very pleasant position. Maybe I can play knight a5, knight c4, and then bishop c5 maybe. Maybe I can even play... I don't know. I don't know what I could play here, but I didn't think this position was bad for me. I'll say that much. I didn't think this position was bad for me. But after e5, I just completely like thought of the wrong thing here, and he just takes. I'm like, wait a second. I was calculating this entire time for him to take, and then take. But I just didn't calculate if he just takes first. And, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? Well, the difference is my bishop doesn't have the c5 square and doesn't have scope. And my bishop is staring into its own pawn. And white's dark square pawns control my bishop's movement really well. And white is just slightly better now, as we'll see throughout the game. Like, my minor pieces are just pretty dead. If we instant rewind here, after the game... the president of the Penn State Chess Club, Will, he actually told me that the engine, he looked at the game with an engine with his player, with Cole, and he said there was an engine line that actually held equality for black. And that was the move after bishop takes f4, e takes d4. And after bishop takes bishop, after queen takes, then white is just up a minor piece. Oh, actually, you can't do that. I have to go here or something like that. White is just up a minor piece. So after bishop takes bishop, you have to play pawn takes e3, and after bishop takes c2 or c7, then e2. And this is not that hard to calculate, but I just simply did not calculate it. Like I just didn't think this far ahead. And let's say a move like rook e1, for example. Then maybe we can just take, promoting to a queen, and after rook takes, bishop takes, and this is just equal. Black has this isolated d pawn, but the game is relatively balanced. Maybe black could play knight e5, and get knight to c4 maybe, Maybe the king can step in to help defend this d pawn, and the game stays in the balance. I did not even think about e takes d4. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it, but I didn't think about it though. That's the issue. So because of that, I was really kicking myself in the head after e5 and bishop takes and pawn takes, and I was like, why did I do this? This is so bad. I've lost the last 4 classical rated games I've played before this game. So I've been on a really bad losing streak, and I just wasn't happy. I just really wasn't happy. But the game goes on. I play g6. He's attacking the h7 pawn, and I didn't see a great way to not defend it. For example, if I played rook e7, queen takes, rook here, knight d2, rook here, and I was like, I just lost a pawn. I really don't have anything to show for it. I just really don't. If I could even trade both of the rooks, I guess, if I really wanted to. But I still don't think I have that much to show for it. Maybe a check first, and then takes. And I really don't have anything to show for it. So I didn't see any reason not to defend my h7 pawn, so I just played g6, which I thought made a lot of sense. He plays knight d2, makes sense, getting his knight off the back rank. And this pawn on f4 does restrict the knight's movement pretty well, but he can just go knight d2. I play rook e6 with the idea that I can go here, and if he takes here, go rook e8, I can go queen e7, and use my queen and rook to team up against his rook. But he plays a good move. He trades 1 pair of rooks, and then plays the move c4. Very nice move. He does isolate his own pawn, so he has this isolated d pawn, but he's getting his queen active. He's gonna bring his knight in, gonna bring his rook in, and it's not very comfortable at all. I play rook e8, defending the back rank. There's nowhere else to really put the rook. If you go rook e8, then queen g8, and you have to either bring your king up, which looks bad, or queen d8, which maybe that's fine. But I just went rook e8 instead. I thought that made a lot of sense. But then he went rook c1. And now you're throwing d5 stuff, and then moving the queen, and the black queen is pinned to the black king. So there's some really bad threats of d5 here, and d5 is just such a horrible issue. So I go king b8, just sidestepping any pins, and he plays queen b5. So if I play a move like queen c7 or queen e7, then the knight on c6 is just hanging because of the queen pinning the pawn to the king. So after queen b5, I could play the move a6, which I think that makes a lot of sense. I think a6 makes a lot of sense, kicking the queen back. But there are no real threats, no infiltration squares. Both files are covered by both my queen and my rook. I can maybe even play the move king a7, and if knight c4, maybe I can play the move knight a4. Huh. This looks awfully scary. I actually have no idea if this works or not. Because if knight takes, probably queen takes, and this queen is under attack. And if I take this, then probably this. And this is bad news bears for me, so that's probably no good. So probably, and if takes, then takes. I'm probably okay here. So yeah, this was probably the way I should have played. But instead, I played queen a5, which I don't think and it's just really uncomfortable. I was gonna say I don't think it's that bad, but it's actually pretty uncomfortable because now he's starting queen f7, attacking the rook and attacking both the h7 pawn and the f6 pawn, and it's really difficult to parry these threats. I do come up with a nice solution, which is knight b4. And now I'm eyeing the a2 pawn with both the knight and the queen. And I honestly think he can kill me right now if he plays the move a3. If he plays the move a3, I have to go back. For example, maybe if I try to go knight d5 here, then knight c4. And I was like, I think I'm like losing. Maybe not. Maybe I can play like queen a6, for example. But this knight on d5 looks extremely loose. But maybe everything's guarded well enough and I'm fine. But I really thought he was going to play the move a3. But instead he plays queen c7, which makes a lot of sense. And I calculated this. I saw this ahead of time. I was had to go rook f8. Of course, he cannot take the h pawn because it's checkmate 1. So his queen is tethered to the defense of the a2 pawn. So he goes queen e6, attacking the bishop, attacking the pawn, and I play the move 5. After the game, one of my fellow Shippensburg teammates, James, he actually said queen a6 seemed like a really strong move. Very interesting. The idea is that, like, let's say, I don't know, white does a move like knight e4, for example, attacking the bishop twice. Well, now queen d3 check. After the king moves, knight c2. And if rook takes, back rank checkmate then. And if king here, now we have the classic smothered mate. So that's the threat. And I actually forget what the engine says on how to deal with it. I actually don't remember. Maybe it's a3. Maybe I think that's how you deal with that threat. Because now if queen check, king a1, check, king a2, and black is out of gas, and the bishop is hanging. I think that's the way. Yeah, I think that's the way white can continue, is by playing the move a3. But it's still, queen a6 is a very interesting move that gives white the opportunity to lose, which I like that. But objectively, it's still better for white. So in this position, I play the move queen d5, offering a queen trade. And the idea is that I don't think this endgame is worse for me. Like, genuinely. Like, I didn't think that this endgame was worse for me. And yeah, like, he has his isolated d pawn. I have these doubled, potentially weak f pawns. My king controls the rook's movement on this file pretty well. So the rook is not going to infiltrate on the c file at the very least. And I thought that I had decent chances here. And compared to at this point in the game, I was super scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got active rook, active queen. My bishop is literally doing nothing. And maybe he can go knight c4 next. Like, this is bad news bears. I don't like this. In this position now, I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I got this. This is okay. He plays knight e4. And attacking my bishop, which makes sense. And I go bishop e7. And my bishop is 3 squares away from the knight, so it controls the knight's movement very well. But he goes knight c5. And there are some interesting threats here. For example, if I go f5, and he takes, I cannot take with the rook because of check here and mate. So f5 is harder to do because I would have to take with the pawn. And I really do not want to isolate my pawns like this. It just seems really unnecessary and not good. Also, wait, I just remembered, if I went f5, he could just fork me in the first place. So the threat of the fork on d7, it seemed really annoying. So I just took the knight. He took with the rook, attacking my knight, and I went knight b4. And he went g5. A good move, loosening up this f6 pawn and making way for his knight. So I think a g5 was a very, very nice move by him. Some people might feel rushed to get this knight out of their business and play a3, but then my knight attacks, and if he defends, I can play the move maybe just rook e8. And I can play knight e1 to maybe trade off the knights here and try and go into either a drawn endgame or try to push from there. But instead, after a3, instead of a3, he plays g5. Very nice move. And I play knight d3 anyways, attacking both the rook and the pawn. He defends, and I take the pawn and go rook e8. And yeah, I'm just throwing checkmate in one. So he has to defend against it. He ends up going rook d2. Nice idea. I thought he might go a3, and if a3, I thought I had a draw in my pocket if I wanted it. For example, rook e1, king here, check, king here, and yeah, like I'm never going to lose this. I'm not sure if I'm winning. Wait, I do win this pawn at the very least. He wins this pawn though, and the game goes on. Oh wait, no, his rook's hanging. So yeah, so actually this is very good for me. So I thought he might play a3, and I was like, oh man, wait, this is kind of good for me. But he finds the right move once again, rook d2. Very nice move. And now his rook is behind his passed pawn and can help push it to victory. And at this point, I was getting low on time. The tournament time control was game in 90, delay 5. And I was probably under 10 minutes at this point. And yeah, it really wasn't that good for me. I played knight b4. He cannot push the pawn because of check and mate. Back rank checkmate with the knight. So one last trick up my sleeve. He plays b3. And I thought for a while here, I really didn't know the best way to continue. Most likely, the best thing for me to do... That's a good question. Maybe play knight d5 and just blockade the pawn. Giving up the h7 pawn, so I'm down a pawn. But maybe I play rook h8, and if he plays knight d5 to defend his h3 pawn, I play the move rook h5, attacking his knight, and he has to move. And yeah, I'm gonna take this h3 pawn, and the game goes on, and it's imperial. That's what I should have played. But I stopped calculating after knight g5. I just stopped calculating after knight g5, and I'm like, okay, this is good for him. He's up a pawn. But no, I just needed to go one move deeper. And it's really important here. Like, firstly, knight g5 is forced, and he doesn't have that many options. He could go knight here to attack my f4 pawn, but it's defended by my knight. So it's actually, there's nothing he can really do. And this game probably would have ended in a draw. Maybe even good for me because I have this 2-on-1 on the queen side. So the game goes on. So it's not super easy. And maybe he wouldn't have taken my pawn. But if he doesn't, then I have nothing to worry about on the queen side. So I should have played knight d5. But I got super scared because I just didn't see the follow-up of playing rook h5 at the very end to win this h3 pawn. But instead, I decide, okay, I'm just going to win this h3 pawn. And I think I'm going to be good. So I go check, king b3 is 4s, and I go rook h8. With the idea that if he takes, then I take. And if he goes back here, I can go rook here maybe. Or I can go rook here. And knight d5, and I'm doing pretty good. But this was absolutely horrible. This was an absolutely horrible way to play because now he just plays d5. Like, duh. Like, of course he's gonna do that move. And I knew he might do this move, so I played king c7. But now he plays knight e6. I go king d6. And he plays knight takes f4, defending his h3 pawn. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? Why did I do this? This was really dumb. But it's okay. I'm not losing. Like, I don't think I'm losing. I play b5. He goes knight e6, attacking the b5 pawn. So if rook takes, then knight takes. And I'm like, okay, I'm still down a pawn here. I probably don't want that. And I could just play rook h5 though. Once again, rook h5, the move I kept missing. And but in this case, he has knight f7 check. I think it should still be fine because after king e7, he has no more checks. And actually, his knight is like basically trapped, actually, surprisingly. He could maybe do the move d6. But then I take, and d7, I go here. And he wins my rook back. He wins my rook back. That sentence wasn't right. He wins my knight back. But now it's a 3-on-3, and this is almost certainly a draw. Although it's not super easy though. Not super easy. I yeah, not super easy. I wonder what's the best way to play. I could play king e7, attacking his rook, and if he goes rook b8, I could go rook b5. I'm definitely not losing this, but I'm not sure the best way to continue. So once again, I could allow him to take on g5, but I'm like, oh no, why would I allow him to take on g5 when I can just defend my pawn? I'm just gonna play h6, and this is totally fine for me. But then he plays knight d8. And I'm like, oh, he's attacking this pawn now. And I was like, oh, okay. I could take this pawn and give up my g7 pawn and then play a move like king e5. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm fine here. Like, this pawn is hard to defend. This pawn might be hard to defend. And I don't think I'm losing. But I'm like, why would I give up my g7 pawn when I don't have to? I'm just going to play g6. And then he played knight f7. And I was like, dude, I'm so stupid. Like, I can't believe. Like, what am I doing? I'm just falling apart against this 1400. I'm just absolutely falling apart against this 1400. Like, I just can't. I'm just screwing everything up. And I move my king. He takes the pawn. Oh no, he plays a3 first. He's so patient. He doesn't actually even ever. I don't remember if he ever takes this pawn. He moves my knight, and then pushes the pawn again because now knight e5 will force the king out, and then he can continue pushing his pawn. I play knight b8 because I'm trying to sacrifice my knight for the pawn. He plays knight e5, pushes the pawn. I sacrifice it, and I win one pawn. And I'm trying to win this f2 pawn so I can have two connected passers and try to create winning chances. And he goes check, check, and I move my king forward. I don't want to move my king back because I want to move my king forward and create problems for him. But instead, I lose the game. He's attacking my pawns. I decide, oh, I'm going to attack his pawn. But knight e5. And there's nothing I can do. If I go up with the king, he has knight f3 check, winning my rook. If I go back with the king, knight f3 check. If I go king e2 or anywhere on the e file, knight g4 would win the rook on h2. So I just simply lost. And like, I was really disappointed with myself because I was just like, this endgame, I played so dumb. Like, g5 was a good move by him, but I played so dumb. Like, starting here. I don't think I should lose this 9 times out of 10. I don't think I should. But I just found all the wrong moves here. And yeah, maybe objectively it's winning for white. I just don't see how that could possibly be. I think black should be able to hold, but maybe even in with correct play. But I was really disappointed myself with how I played. I mean, firstly, this whole bringing your rook to attack h3, allowing the d5 pawn push in the first place, so bad. So bad. And I should just take this h3 pawn now. I really should, but instead, I play so passively. I'm just defending my pawns. So bad. I'm just defending my pawns like this. So bad. Yeah, I really fumble and completely fail. I just completely fail. Endgame, and it was really disappointing. And it was my 5th loss in a row. My 5th loss over the board, classical rated game. I probably spent at least 20 total hours losing on games I've lost consecutively. If that makes sense. And yeah, in this 1400, he didn't just beat me. He then in the next round he beat a 2000 rated player, and then in the round following that he beat a 2400. And then today on Sunday he lost to two 2200s. So his reign has ended. But gosh, man, he fought and really ended up winning 3 games in a row. And congratulations to Cole from Penn State University. This tournament has a top college prize. Shippensburg University, the one that I go to, we were playing in it. Penn State main campus was playing, Penn State Behrend, and Westchester University. So, but yeah, congrats to Cole for winning this one, and brutal. Definitely the strongest 1400 I've ever played. He it was his last over the board game was 9 years ago. So he's probably a bit stronger than that now, but still disappointing for me that one. I'm gonna hit the game review. I'll see you guys in the next one.